Hi friends, this is Miss Muller. We are doing purple. We're doing purple sort 5. Our headers this week are Y, LY, and ILY. In the previous weeks, we've been working on prefixes, which change the meaning of a word and are in the beginning of a word. This week, we're going to talk about suffixes. Say that word, suffix. A suffix changes the meaning of the word and is on the end of the word. You're going to find suffixes on the end instead of prefixes like we saw in the front of the word. So when you add a Y to a word, the word becomes an adjective, and an adjective simply just describes something. It's a way to describe something. When you add ly or ILY, those adjectives kind of changes the meaning of those adjectives. And we're going to talk about that as we go through. So let's start with Y. So find that helper word. The word is scratchy. So we know what it means to scratch, right? But if something is scratchy, right, he was very scratchy. So he was, it just describes something. Go ahead and find the word squirmy, right? We know what it means to squirm, but when you're squirmy, it means that's how you are. You're moving in your seat. You're squirmy. Now go ahead and find the word velvety. Have you ever felt velvet pants? They're real soft. Velvety. Go ahead and find the word squeaky, right? We know what it means to squeak, but when something is squeaky, we describe how something is. Cooper, my dog, has a toy that's very squeaky. The next word I want you to find is wealthy. Wealthy. We know wealth means to have a lot of money, so if you are wealthy, you're describing someone that has a lot of money. The next word I want you to find is skinny. Skinny. We know what it means. Skinny, right? I had a skinny tube, so I had a really thin tube, describing the tube. The next word I want you to find is swampy. Swampy. Go ahead and find the word shaggy. Go ahead and find the word silvery, right? If something is silver, we could say it kind of has a silvery color to it. And the last word in this sort I want you to find is spotty. Go ahead and find the word spotty. Let's go over these words. Words that end with a Y. Scratchy, squirmy, velvety, squeaky, wealthy, skinny, swampy, shaggy, silvery, and spotty. The next column is ly. I want you to find the helper word silently, right? It kind of describes something. Silently describes how you're doing something, right? So the next word I want you to find in this column is secretly. She was secretly planning a surprise party. She was doing something in secret. The next word I want you to find is rapidly. Rapidly describes how someone was doing something rapidly. Now go ahead and find the word fluently. We know what it means to be a fluent reader, right? You have great expression, you read with a good rhythm. A lot of our second grade readers, all of you read very fluently. The next word I want you to find is eagerly. She was eagerly waiting for her flight to take off. That describes how she was. She was eagerly waiting, what she was doing. The next one I want you to find is generously. Generously. We know what it means to be generous. So if she was generously giving her toys away, it's something she was doing. The next word I want you to find is seriously. Seriously. That ly at the end. Go ahead and find the word politely. Politely. She was politely asking if she could be excused. Politely. The next word I want you to find is briefly. Briefly. And the last word in this column I want you to find is bravely. Bravely. Let's read these words. Silently, secretly, rapidly, fluently, eagerly, generously, seriously, politely, briefly, bravely. Our last column is ILY. So let's find our helper word merrily. This also kind of describes how someone is doing something. So go ahead and find the word greedily. To be greedy means to take more than they really should, right? So if you're greedily taking too many turns or eating too much of the pizza, it describes something you're doing. Hastily. Hastily means you're full of haste, which means not so nice, you're not being nice, or you can't share. So if you're acting hastily, probably means you're not being a good friend. And the last one I want you to find in this column is readily. I have lots of markers and crayons readily available, which means they are always there to be used. Let's read the words in this column. Merrily, greedily, hastily, readily. So this week we talked about Y, ly, and ILY. And these are called, anybody remember? Suffixes. And they come at the beginning or the end of a word. You got it. The end of the word. Nice job this week, friends.